I am Dr. Ruchika Verma, a postdoctoral fellow in Department of Psychology, University of Allahabad, is going to present a lecture on understanding violence against women, definitions, prevalence and types of violence against women. And this module has been written by Dr. Sana Contractor from Center for Health and Social Justice, New Delhi. Violence has been a very common problem in almost all parts of world. The World Report on Violence and Health, released in 2002, defines violence as the intentional use of physical force or power, threatened or actual, against oneself, another person or against a group or community that either results in or has a high likelihood of resulting in injury, death, psychological harm, maldevelopment or deprivation. The definition includes lots of words which needs explanation. The first important word that needs to be addressed to is the intentional. Intentional means that the action that has been deliberately done by some person who is executing power in some form and is trying to threaten or actually trying to harm someone as a result of harm someone as a person, as against a group or community, or as a result there is a result of injury, death, psychological harm or maldevelopment or deprivation. So the results of violence ranges from mild to serious consequences, ranging from giving anybody malnourished food or maldevelopment or deprivation, and it can result in serious injuries or even death of a person. But the most important word that needs attention is the intentional. Since it is intentional and has been done by someone deliberately against some person, that is why it is called violence. Violence has become a very common problem globally. It has been reflected against women throughout the world. The United Nations Declaration on the Elimination of Violence Against Women came in year 1993, and they define the term as any act of gender based violence that result in or is likely to result in physical, sexual or psychological harm or suffering to women, including threats of such acts, coercion or arbitrary deprivation of liberty, whether occurring in public or in private life. So the declaration on the elimination of violence against women was a landmark in the history of violence against women, because they gave a definition of violence against women which was totally gender based. The social construction of gender has led to many forms of violence against women. The violence can be in the physical, sexual or psychological in nature, and it can include various threats at various levels such as physical or psychological. It can be forceful sexual acts, or it can be just restricting a person to move. There is a restriction of the mobilization, and it can be in any form in the private or public life of women. Like for example, a woman who has been who experience some kind of violence in the public life, like for example sexual harassment at the public place or in the private life, like for example harassing or passing psychologically damaging comments by family members, can have devastating effect on the psychology of the women. Elimination of violence against women was introduced with an intention to understand the needs and the nature of violence against women. It has been recognized, violence against women has been recognized as a public health issue. This issue was brought to the fore by women's movement in various parts of the world. Initially considered as a social issue or law and order issue, gradually it was recognized as a public health problem due to the health impact. Because the history of understanding the violence against women is long back, because it was recognized by many women agencies and many women's movement. It was recognized that violence is hidden as well as it has become an inevitable part of the society. Gradually it was addressed by many women reformers that the violence exists in the society at different level, not only in the family but at the social, in most of the social organizations, like for example schools, colleges, offices. The violence against women is common and is present in various forms. Like for example, if a woman is in the house, she has to fulfill her duties as in all the roles. There is no role substitution. Instead, there is a growing addition of the roles. As a result of that, she has to face verbal violence all the time, because when a woman who is also performing his role as a professional woman, she is also she has to face violence at different levels, because in the house she has to fulfill all her duties related to the roles of mother, wife and daughter-in-law, and in the professional place she has to fulfill her duties as a professional woman also. But as a result of that, due to this, there is a growing number of cases of which are seen, that whenever women try to say no and try to address her own issues, it becomes difficult for her to survive. In 1994, ICPD recognized the impact of violence on women's reproductive and sexual health. As we all know that whenever the issue of women's health is recognized, the importance is always given to the reproductive needs, reproductive health of the women. The first issue that has been addressed is women's reproductive and sexual health. In 1996, UN World Health Assembly UN Women Health Assembly declared that by the UN as an important public health problem. Violence was considered as a public health problem, and in 2002, World Health Organization releases the first World Health Report on Violence, which dedicates 2 chapters to intimate partner violence and sexual violence, because these were the issues which were left, which remained untouched in most of the developing countries. Even today, married couples, they rarely want to talk about intimate partner violence or marital rape and other kind of sexual violence that takes place within the 4 walls of family. An important form of violence which has been observed in family is the violence associated with the various roles of women. Women, when not able to satisfy their roles at different levels, like as mothers or wives, or as an obedient daughter-in-law, it becomes difficult for her to survive in the family, and as a result she has to face various ways in which she can ways of violence. Violence is a kind of hidden burden which exists in the lives of most of the women in Indian society. Violence is shrouded in secrecy and silence. It exists in silence and slowly affects the lives of women. The diagram which has been projected, it shows that there is the tip of the iceberg is only the thing which has been reported. This is the tip of the iceberg, is the only part which is reported and can be seen in the various prevalence rates. Prevalent estimates are usually just the tip of the iceberg, and according to World Report on Violence and Health in 2002, the image depicts the true magnitude of the problem of sexual violence and the relative hidden prevalence, because there are a lot of issues which are hidden. For example, rape reported in surveys, rape reported to police, rape not disclosed because of shame, blame or other factors, and the magnitude of the problem of sexual violence is so deep that most of the problems are not reported by the women herself. The women, because of many socio-cultural barriers, it becomes difficult for women to report such kind of violence in the family, in and outside the family. Incest and rape within the family is very common, and sexual abuse has been reported in families. This kind of sexual abuse is, the violence starts right from the childhood, and that violence, sexual violence, is not reported by women because from the childhood the daughters has been socialized to remain in silence. There is a culture of silence which prevail, and it becomes difficult for girls to tell any kind of sexual violence experienced by them. They cannot even tell this to their mothers. The prevalence of violence is global. Globally, 1 in 3 women worldwide have been subject to physical or sexual violence by a partner or non-partner. Prevalence varies across countries from 15% to 71%. Global study across 10 countries in 2005 reported that 1 in 6 women reported facing physical or sexual violence by an intimate partner. It has been seen in most of the cases that the violence, the physical and sexual violence, is done by a known person who is very close to the victim. 13 to 61% cases reported ever having experienced physical violence by a partner. Physical violence can be of any form. It can be beating, it can be thrashing, it can be verbal also, using abusive language, and sexual violence includes inappropriate ways of showing sexual activity. 4 to 49% reported having experienced severe physical violence by a partner, and 6 to 59% reported sexual violence by a partner at some point in their lives. At the same time, 20 to 75% reported facing one emotionally abusive act. So, violence is globally present in the lives of women, and it is present in a major percentage and is reported in many countries, and especially in developing countries such condition is very common. And this is not a problem which has been specific to a particular country, although the nature of the problem varies from culture to culture, but the gravity and the nature of the problem is generally same. In India, the prevalence, the most important body which keeps the record of the violence against women is National Crime Record Bureau, and according to NCRB 2013 reports, the rate of crime against women is 52 per 1 lakh women. There are 33,707 cases of rape and 8,083 dowry deaths. Kidnapping of women and girls 51,881, and assault with intent to outrage modesty is 70,739. Another very interesting category in NCRB records is cruelty by husband or relatives. This category was added in the NCRB records almost around in their NCRB reports after 1995 or 1998. When this category was included, it was observed that the domestic violence was experienced by women mainly by husband and his relatives, and this kind of violence is maximum, which is around 1,18,866 cases. National Family Health Survey is another body which keeps record of such crimes and violence against women. The latest NFHS survey is in 2005-06, and this is a large demographic survey which shows that 33% women in the age group of 15 to 49 years face some form of physical violence. 8.5% reported ever facing any kind of sexual violence, and 37% reported facing physical sexual violence by a spouse. The National Crime Record Bureau data is likely an underestimate. We cannot rely on the data completely because it is an underestimate given that all cases of violence against women are not reported to the police. Only those cases are reported where the people are aware or where women of the house has the courage to file a complaint against their husbands. Yet the numbers are quite high and rising due to greater awareness about the issue and hence more reporting. However, there was a 35% increase in reported cases of rape in 2013 as compared to 2012. So, the data statistics is quite misleading and can be that needs an inquiry that what are the reasons why there is a greater number of reporting of the rape cases and there is a decrease in the number of reporting of there is not that tremendous increase in the reporting of the violence against women which is taking place in the milder forms. So, that needs that is an important issue of research. Prevalence estimated by NFHS is greater. 1 in 3 women report facing violence. However, the data is a decade old and surveys covers only a limited range of types of violence. So, in that case NCRB report data is more helpful in understanding the status of the violence against women, and it is very important to not only rely on numbers, but also to address the issue of why and to understand the reasons why these numbers are increasing or decreasing. That needs a detailed inquiry, because unless and until we understand the reasons behind this, we cannot judge the complete situation. Now, how the violence experienced by women runs across the lifespan. The violence against women starts as soon as a woman, when an infant or when a mother conceives the child. The mothers within the mother's womb only, where if parents or the members of the family, they came to know that the child is a female child, then female infanticide is a common practice. Malundernourishment, then once the child is born, and if the child is a girl child, mal and undernourishment of the female child is a very common situation which can be seen in most of the lower income or most of the poor people in India. Medical care are withheld, no medical attention is given to them, and as the child grows, the importance of education, importance of food, are all the positive things are given to the male child, and little or no schooling, child labor, child prostitution, physical abuse, neglect, abandonment, incest, sexual abuse, all these problems are faced by female child. As a teenager, the common problems which are experienced, the form of violence experienced by a teenager girl are coerced, forceful sexual initiation, rape, forced marriages to parents, even to a much older man, teens rape, ignorance about sex, anatomy, sexual health, control over sexuality and sexual orientation, trafficking, forced into prostitution are some common problem. The problem doesn't end in the as a teenager. Even when a teenager become an adult, then the problem of unhealthy practices, early initiation of sexual activity, poor reproductive health are some of the common problems. Not only that, at the workplace, violence has been experienced by women almost throughout the lifespan. The violence which is experienced by women have different forms. The physical violence include beating, slapping, kicking, hitting with instruments and so on. Attempt to kill through poisoning, strangling, setting on fire, etc. are physical forms of violence. Emotional violence includes insults, belittling, constant humiliation, intimidation, threats of harm, threats to take away children, and restricting the freedom of mobility, and these are emotional forms of violence. Sexual violence is forced sex, unwanted sexual advances, sexually colored remarks, disallowing use of contraception, forced abortions, and so on. Then there are economical ways of forms of violence, withholding salary, not allowing them to freely spend their own money, not giving money to their needs, providing for household expenses, education of children, and forcibly taking away assets from women are some of the common forms of violence which are experienced by women throughout the lifespan. We have seen lots of examples in the families where even at the age of 60 and 65, the women is not free to have any kind of financial or economic control over their assets. They have always, in young age, they are under the control of their sons, in the control of their fathers. Then in the young age, they are in the control of their husbands. Then in middlehood, they are under the control of their sons, and in the old age, they are under the control of sons and their wives. So, women is always under the control of a male authority, and they are not free to express their opinion. There is an ecological model which explains the risk factors associated with violence against women. Violence against women is not a random act, but is a result of inequalities and socialization at various levels. It includes the ecological model take into account all the factors operating at different levels, which leads to the experience of violence. It provides a framework to understand influences on violence, how they interact, and therefore how they can be prevented. Like the ecological model for understanding violence explains that individual's existence is not only restricted to himself, but is extended to his relationships to other members in the society, then to the community to which he belongs, and the society in which he or she is surviving. All the factors equally affect an individual's existence. Like for example, the socialization practices at various levels are very important. Even if an individual who has been socialized to give respect to women, and if he goes to a community where the women is not treated in the way the individual has been socialized, it becomes very difficult for him to project himself as a person not belonging to the community. So, social norms and values forces a person to show the behavior which is prevalent in the society. Like for example, it has been seen in many researches that it is very difficult for boys to show their supportive behavior towards their wives in the joint family. However, it is easier for them to support and help wife in their domestic roles if they are living separately. So, the socio-cultural construction and the socialization process which is operating and which is prevalent in our society is actually perpetuating violence against women at different levels. Unless we modify the socio-cultural construction of women and the social construction, the way gender has been conceptualized in our society, it is not possible to reduce the violence against women, because violence against women has become such a serious problem and is operating in the lives of both men and women in such a serious way that needs an intervention as soon as possible. Thank you so much.